We boarded efficiently at Brooklyn Terminal in New York, the queue moving steadily towards the luxurious lobby of Cunard's flagship liner, the Transatlantic Doyenne, Queen Mary II, patiently tied up, loading her supplies and 2,100 passengers with all their luggage. This was our first cruise on a large liner. We had only 2 previous commercial cruises on small Cunard yachts that accommodated only 130 cabins. We were more used to private yacht charters for 10 to 12 people or our own boat. We had booked with trepidation 3 Cunard cruises back to back. As we stepped aboard, we joined a line of guests moving past a welcoming committee of beautifully tailored and immaculately uniformed officers and the captain, smiling, shaking hands or gesturing us to embark, and myriad staff adopting each guest to escort them to their cabin. As we followed our escort to our eagerly awaited balcony Britannia suite cabin, it was evident that this cruise liner was well loved and cared for with the most excellent attention to detail. The carpet in the gangways had been meticulously swept against the pile to create a new plush, you're the first person to step on it feeling. When our cases arrived, we were amazed at how we were able to empty the contents into the ample wardrobe and drawers with space and coat hangers to spare. Bonus! Our cabin steward, or house mouse, who was to look after us the entire 7 days, pointed out the intelligent bed design that was high enough to allow luggage storage underneath. Time to hit the decks, exploring. The source of that band music on the back deck turned out to be the party venue for the sail-away party, with dancing, drinking and observing the host port, New York, become enveloped in a massive history-making thunderstorm, triggering government phone alerts. As we steamed away from real-life dramas, we entered the serene biosphere of a 7-day transatlantic crossing. A few beers, a deck spa, and a chat with other excited sailors later, it was time to dress up for our first dinner in the Britannia Grill restaurant at our chosen time slot for the week of late for adults, a sitting reserved for us at 8:30 p.m. every night. Here we encountered our first, oh dear, moment. On arrival at the grand entrance, our maitre d', Attila, clucked his tongue, observing my husband's lack of tie and his jacket slung casually over his arm. Oh no, he remonstrated, a jacket must be worn, at least to the table, and would Sir like to borrow a tie, as he had clearly forgotten his. Dress code addressed, we followed the agile Attila up an endless series of stairs, up to the bleachers and across the already packed restaurant to a table for 12, where he beckoned 2 seats opposite each other, straddled in the middle of 10 other strangers. On one side of one chair was a mute teenage boy frowning at us, and the other side of the table sat an elderly gent, probably in his 80s. This was to be our table seating for the entire 7-day cruise, Attila triumphantly announced. Little did he know what force of resistance he had come up against. No, no, no. I have not paid this sort of money to spend a romantic 7 days with my husband after the most stressful 18 months of our lives sitting here. We expected a beautiful table for 2 where we could unwind, catch up and reconnect. A wave of a $20 note produced an intimate ringside table overlooking the lower level of the theatrical restaurant. We dined every evening, with tie and jacket, at our intimate table for 2 and with a smile from Attila. Walking is the new black on a large liner, and always one to buck authority, and being from Australia, where our water drains anti-clockwise, I walked anti-clockwise, much to the disgust of 99% of the human sheep, but I got to see them all face on, and it was sport to me to observe who was happy, angry, or frustrated trying to overtake dawdlers. I took detours upstairs and gangways, which revealed many surprises. On day 1, with the sun shining and the sea wind whistling in my ears, I climbed 8 flights of stairs to the top deck and discovered the posh Queen Mary kennels. 11 dogs were being stylishly transported to London with QM2 raincoats for inclement weather, visits from family in the lounge area or in the outdoor exercise area, complete with a US red fire hydrant to pee on, before settling into luxury cages every evening. At the very front of the ship, on deck 4, sat four huge, smooth, dark grey sculptures like humpback whale outlines. I marvelled at the artistic display for days, until I stopped and read the small plaque, declaring they were in fact spare propellers in case of emergency. I could not imagine how they would have entertained replacing them at sea, but spare they were, in case. Opposite the spares was a huge brass bell proclaiming 2003 as the Queen Mary launch date. That was evidently regularly polished and was fortunately protected in a Perspex cabinet, because my rebellious streak would have seen me ringing it each time I walked anti-clockwise on the deck. The corridor forward of the ship, on both sides, was dedicated to table games: cards, Scrabble, Monopoly, Mahjong and jigsaw puzzles. Seated at deep picture windows, mostly just above the waterline, they provided hours of entertainment for us as the sea and occasional whale or dolphin pod passed by. The theatre offered such diverse entertainment each night, with a show at 8:30 for the early diners and 10:30 for late sittings. Plush red tub chairs, stage side with drink service, and 2 levels of an audience, all faultlessly silent and respectful of the acts. We witnessed 7 shows, ranging from top comedians, cirque-style circuses, musical theatre, and magicians. Departing the theatre, the crowd pushed you through the casino, where many were lost, and into overspilling bars and lounge areas that served guests until the wee hours. You could never go hungry on Queen Mary 2. Specialty restaurants serving top cuts of beef, Japanese cuisine or French specialities, expansive buffets operating seemingly 24 hours, and a 24/7 in-cabin service ensured the walking ship brigade never missed a lap. All too soon, we passed Land's End in Cornwall, where a phenomenal coincidence had me passing by my father's last residence on the exact 30th anniversary of his last living birthday on this earth. Docking at Southampton before dawn, we entered a smooth, incident-free transatlantic crossing. Eating wakame, sushi and muffins for breakfast, I watched the dogs excitedly smell land again. Then we disembarked and headed 500 metres to board Queen Elizabeth to cruise for 14 days to the Arctic Circle and Norway.